Leave it at.
We left it at welcome back to the Playhouse. Hope you guys are enjoying. That's for the conversation. We've nailed the first album. We've now just introed the beginning of the next album.
Yeah.
We've had the birth of Love Unleashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Mexican,
Yeah, so this guy Miguel, he's what actually led me to create. Like that was when I got the go ahead to do this project, Love Unleashed, and it was that album really like, if in terms of one of the most successful.
Yep.
It was that one. It was a powerful album.
That's my favorite. I don't think, you know the way you buy a CD and on a CD when a certain song comes you forward, because this one I play from beginning to end.
Yeah. So the what can I say? The single that came out for that one was actually December Ich Temweko.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge.
So the first time I actually released an actual single, which was like, which was a love song.
Yep.
So it was beautiful.
What does
Ich Temweko means love.
Ich Temweko.
But you know what's crazy? Yeah. Do you know? And the first time I'd ever done Ich Temweko was at Pompey's album launch in 2012.
And what is the reception on that? Crazy.
Great. So like, I would write songs like years before, and then later on I say, okay, cool, here.
Okay.
Then I would release it.
Lord of House.
It's not every day I want you. I don't mean to sound so harsh, but it's every day I need you. I loved you right from the start. Sometimes I feel I've drifted off to the furthest stars, only to find I'm rested, wrapped in your loving arms. Eche temwiko, valili la ponce. Eche temwiko, that causes my heart to sing. Eche temwiko, valili la ponce. Eche temwiko, that causes my heart to sing. Yeah. Eche temwiko chole, tachabanga bambio, ganalova baby. Your love always brings me back. Eche temwiko chole, tachabanga bambio, ganalova baby. Your love always brings me back.
So Ich Temweko was actually was
and you say it means what again? Sorry.
Love in Bemba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Ich Temweko, like, this is the love. Ich Temweko, valida ponce. Valida ponce means it's the love they cry for. Yeah. This is the kind of love everyone cries for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Ich Temweko chove, like your love tachavanga bambio. Like it's not like others. Nganaluba baby, when I get lost, your love always brings me back. So I based that song on 1 Peter chapter 3, 1-7, where it talks to wives and husbands, and it says, like, if they stray away, that the other should continue in the faith so that you might draw them back. Okay. So that's what the song is actually.
But you wrote this in 20. Were you married? Yes, you are. You're married by the time
I was
you
married
wrote it.
by then, yeah.
Was there a reason deeper to this as to why you wrote
I
it?
think I'd come to understand. Love in a different way.
Okay.
Because, like, prior to that, it's like, oh, this is love is just so perfect. That's like, even in my love songs, I never put an idea of, like, I found this most amazing person who can never do. You know what I'm saying? It has to have an element of flaw.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It has to have an element of imperfection. It has to have an element of, this person has their, it's like, with kids as well. When you learn to love, you're like, these are your kids. You know what I'm saying? These are family members. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So there's always that, and the people that we love the most, they're not perfect.
True that.
So that's what I'd come to understand with that. But then whenever we sell like love songs, it's always like, you're the light of my life, you're the greatest person. It's like, are they really?
Like, what's wrong with my marriage?
Are they really? so yeah. So that was that for me was each time it was like, okay, now I fully understand. But 2014, as I would say at that time, one of the most successful years for me as well, was one of the worst years ever in my life. Was one of the worst years ever in my life.
Okay.
Because it was the most transformative year of my life. Very, like, in terms of change, transformative year of my life.
Was your son born?
So my firstborn son, was born in 2013.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Zane was born in 2013, and then Zion was born the year after, 2015. So I will honestly say that, so when I was talking, I said there was a guy called Luasi, who had been really, really good friend of mine, and he had come to the airport when I was leaving for the States.
Yes, the one guy.
Yeah, worked for Zeph. So great friends. At the time, so him and I were not talking as much as and he would try to reach out. And personally, I distanced myself a bit because of reasons I don't want to mention. I get it. Yeah, no problem. But he was like one of my closest friends. Amazing person, down to earth. He had there's just a lot that happened between his life and the life of, and also faith was involved. And so one day I was at the mall. So I bumped into another artist. His name was Cactus Agony. So Cactus is like, hey. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, I'm like, what's up, man? How you doing? He's like, yeah, man, I just came from the morgue to identify a body. And he mentions a guy, and I remember the guy's name he mentioned, who was the elder brother of this friend of mine. And when he said, went to identify his younger brother, and I think, I know that guy, and I only know he has only one younger brother, and there's only one guy that could be. And I said, you mean Lusaka? And he says, yeah. And I remember I fell, like right then and there, like I fell right on the floor. And my manager just dropped me off, and he was driving off, and I start calling him like, Angel, stop the car. I said, my manager at the time was a friend called Angel. So I rushed to the car and I jump in, and I can't stop crying. So I call another guy who we're all close to him, and I'm just like, bro, and I found out that he had shot himself.
Oh man.
And when there was a lot to take in, because I felt like I should have been there. You know what I'm saying? Like I should have been there. What were you doing that you found was more important? What were you trying to be more impressed to than being there for this person? And much of the reasons why I guess there was a conflict of faith. And oftentimes when there's a conflict of faith, you don't want to assume that you are around people who are of a conflict of faith. But then I had to question myself after, like, to impress who? And it became, and I was asked you know, I was considered to his family. I was considered his closest friend that I was asked to speak at his funeral, and it was so depressing. Like it was so depressing because they had to do a graveside funeral, and I was there talking. I don't remember if I was making any sense. I was crying most of the time. You know, it's one of those people when I was making, he's like, he identified a lot of my talents early. He said, you know what, man, he's like, I remember him telling me one time, he's like, you know what, I don't know what's gonna make you big. Could be your acting, could be a comedian, but I just know you're gonna be big. And he was very encouraging in that sense. And so what ended up happening was it really played a part in, that was the first time I think I can honestly say that I battled with depression. So, you know, because of that, from that, I mean, I was already just on the brink of, when you're going to shows, you know, and everybody's telling you how amazing everyone's telling you their life. So you're solving so many people's problems, but then when you're alone, you're alone. My wife at the time was pregnant with, you know, was also just, you know, our son was small. And so I found myself in a time when I was alone, like absolutely alone. And it was a very, very dark time in my life. I can honestly say it was a very dark time. And what was crazy is that I would go to, you talk with Christian brothers and say, hey man, like, man, how's your spiritual life? And everybody was blessed. And somewhere I was just looking for someone who could say, I'm also going through, you know what I'm saying? And it was never, I felt like I didn't have a lot of natural conversations. I was very alone for a long time. I found myself making many decisions that I wouldn't normally make. You know, I found myself struggling with things I never normally struggle with. And I was doing a lot of self-analysis, like why, what? And then a lot of reflection of, oh, so that's why people do this. That's why people do that. And it was really bad because I think I lost connection with a lot of people for a couple of years, I honestly say. Because even in 2015, when I dropped Love Unleashed, the deluxe, you know, that was the year I was also reaping some of the awards from the 2014. So it was like a clean sweep where I was just winning a lot of awards, but nothing was satisfying. Like nothing really. Like, to be very honest, nothing was satisfying. It was almost like you're in a shell. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like you're in a shell. And I was tired of being used as more of an asset. You know? And
in fact, that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, so the depression, I know, may have been pushed over the edge by the death of your friend, but what was it that pushed you even to the edge? You know, what was the thing that made you steer into that direction?
Oof, man.
Was it Christian burnout? Was it being put on a pedestal?
It was, I think everything became affected. Marriage, ministry, the perception of it, just like it's like you know, like where everything over the years, just like, oh, okay, now. So that was the time. Then what helped, I can honestly say what helped was I quit. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do this music for.
But at this time, you've not dropped your.
Yeah, by this time I dropped the deluxe.
No, wait. I want us to go back. Okay, no, let's just finish this period, then we'll go back to that second album.
Yeah, it's a very complicated issue because it's one of those issues where you don't want to, you don't want to emphasize a certain story because it involves other people.
Yeah, I get it.
And then when it involves other people, it's almost like, well, their story is not being told. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
And it would be my perspective, but it wouldn't be the full perspective.
It's a coin. It's heads without the tails.
Yeah. So the only thing I can reflect on was where my mind was at that time. Where my mind was at that time, and where it's been in terms of trying to, what exactly? And so what I think helped me in discovering a sense of meaning was, when my second born son was coming through, I said, okay, you gotta try and, do something. And then there was an orphanage that reached out to me called Face of a Child Foundation. And they said, they invited me, they said, would you come and see us and just become an ambassador for us? So when I saw those kids and I started working with those kids, it was really amazing.
Life-giving.
It was really life-giving. So for the last couple of years, I've been supporting the orphanage, taking kids through school, building wells, just, helping them transition even after age. So, dealing with stories, police issues and whatnot, so it's been really good. And then at the same time, there was the Kayula Childhood Cancer Foundation, which came on, which also invited me, and I took up helping fight children's cancer and visiting kids in hospitals and also trying to help raise funds for them. In fact, so the last album, Love Unleashed, when it was now time to release it, we actually had a committee and a planning committee and everything. And so we said, we're gonna do this album to give back to charity. We're gonna make this album to give, everything is gonna help fight the Children's Cancer Foundation. So I walked out there with nearly nothing.
For Love Unleashed?
Yeah, for Love Revolution.
Oh, Love Revolution. Okay.
And my intention at that point, what I'd said was, I'd actually announced that this is my last album. So I'd announced the public and even done radio, and all the promos were just going out and saying, this is my last album. This is Abel's last album. I'm done. I'm good. Thank you. And I was tired. I was really tired. I was exhausted. I felt like, God, it was just like, to be in depression from 2014 to 20, that's like a long time. I felt
to
2018.
Yo.
So I was like, I just needed something different. Because, there is what can I say? There's a way Christians, we tend to try to deal with something. We handle it with the idea of, we can't look bad. You know what I'm saying? Or this is gonna make us look, or this person makes us look bad. So we kind of shun certain people. And that's what kind of, I felt at some point began to happen. So, and I felt like that was the same thing with, that I had allowed to happen that made me feel like I wasn't there for my friend when he needed me.
Also, you felt like because of what you were going through, you were...
Yes. So also what he was going through, I felt like he's, and so when it came to a point where I was done, I was like, it's a wrap. I can't do this anymore. There's a friend of mine who sent me, but the thing is, one of the things I'll never forget was, so in 2014, oh man, how could I almost forget this? So in 2014, I'm sitting down and I'm in a house and I'm alone, and for 3 days I not eating. And for 3 days I'm alone, and for 3 days I've taken off all my clothes. I'm just like I'm tired, and I'm about to take my life. Yeah, so I'm about to commit suicide. Yes, this is 2014. So in 2014 I'm about to commit suicide. And then the Lord just goes, keep going. Keep going. And I'm like, what? And just like, keep going. Just trust me with tomorrow. And trust me with the day after. And if you ever reach the point where you're just like, you no longer have a plan. You reach the point where it's like, boom, it's a wall. And everything now is on autopilot. And that's what it became. It was just like, okay, day 2, okay, I'm still alive, day 3, I'm still alive, day 4, I'm still alive, day 5. And it was just like one incident after another incident, after another day, after another day, and after another day, and after another day. And it was really quite something. And
you're alone, you're about to commit suicide. Like, it got that bad.
It got that bad.
This is somebody who knows God, who's had Jesus, who's met him, who's had this conversation with him.
Yeah. Imagine, eh? So we, you know, it was quite something. But went through some very dark times. Went through some, and what you find a lot of times is that for a lot of people, you know, when you're viewed as an asset, life goes on. You know what I'm saying? Ministry goes on. Everything goes on. And it wasn't a sense of you're seeking attention. You're just like, guys, like, man, like, I'm really just, I'm exhausted. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do this as much as I would desire to. And you find that if you've got a gift or something that you're good at, most ministries will think about how to use it.
Yeah, especially if it's a front-facing gift.
Yeah.
So, got a good voice, service leading, good looks, those kind of things.
Yeah. So there was an impactful situation. That is irritating. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was a bit.
I know, right?
Give them like a minute.
So yeah. So let me just check something.
This one is a bit loud.
It's like they don't want you to tell this part of the story.